Welcome back, guys. So we're going to be doing another video on the making money with smalls. People are loving these videos and they're taking these ideas and they're going crazy with them and having crazy success with these types of builds. So for those who are new to the channel, what this series is about is making money with smalls, the power of smalls. So the items that you can build for really low cost and sell for a really high profit. That is what this is about. So if you have not checked out some of the other videos, make sure to check those out. So in this episode, I'm going to go over more trending items, break them down, tell you how they were built. That way you can build them at home and sell them yourself. And in this episode, I'm actually going to be showing you step by step on how they build items like this that they're getting $150 for a set of 3. You can make these out of one fence picket or pallet wood or whatever that you would like. So I have a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and jump into this video. Okay, so this one I threw in there because, again, this is more of a modern design that blew my mind because it's so stinking simple. This is a 2-piece wall shelf that costs $120 at Pier 1. Not bad for 2 shelves, right? But if you look at the dimensions of this thing, it's 1.5 inches thick. It's 5 inches wide, and each one of these shelves have 42 linear inches total in each one. So that means that they have taken one 2x6, which right now is $6.98. I just looked it up, and made 2 shelves out of one board and left it natural. So they've taken a $7 board and turned it into a $120 set. So it looks like that there are 2 different designs of shelves here. That's all that they have done is flipped one over. So you're going to make these identical. The 2 sides in the middle, those are 6-inch boards with 45-degree ends. So the horizontal boards come out to a total of 24 inches. So I'm going to guess that the longest board is around 16 inches and the top board is going to be around 8 inches. So that'll give us our 24 inches. And the rest is 45s. As far as joining this together, it's all that they have done is glued. I've zoomed in, I've looked, there's no joinery unless that they have used some type of dowel joinery on the inside, which you can do that. If it were me, I would have some type of joinery in this and not just glue because it's going to be hanging on the wall and you're going to be putting different stuff on it. So what I would do, I would glue this, clamp it, let it dry, and then actually drill a hole, let's say a 1/4 inch hole for pegs going all the way through the corner. All the way through, run like a walnut dowel rod or something like that through there. Cut that off, you'd actually have those walnut dowels showing. So you wouldn't have to have any special type of joinery tool. If you have a biscuit joint or something like that, you definitely can use that. But by drilling a hole through that corner, gluing in these walnut dowels, it's going to add a different type of a look to it. To me, it would be a nicer look than just a 2x6 hanging on the wall that's cut at 45s. As far as how these are hung, it doesn't even actually say. But I'm going to say that since this is so simply built, that they've just used some heavier duty hardware to hang this on the wall. Okay, so this next one, this is some wall art. And I know that we have covered this in the past, but this time I'm actually going to show you exactly how easy that it is to make this. And the reason why is because this is trending. This keeps popping up, of course, different colors, different designs, but it keeps popping up over and over and over. So this style here, they're wanting $152 for a set of 3, but they're small. These things are only 14 inches square a piece, and each one can be made out of one fence picket or pallet wood or whatever that you would like to use. So essentially for $6, you can make something that they're selling a set of for $150. And these things are really neat. But where the creativity comes in is the different colors, different color schemes and the different patterns. Almost every one that I've seen, everything is based on 45-degree angles, just making different shapes. But trust me, these things are hot. They're on every big box store site in some form or fashion. So you always take that as a sign that these things are selling and they're selling a lot of them. So let me show you just how easy it is to make these things. I can tell by looking at the photo that this whole build was made out of 2-inch material. So first I'm going to start by ripping down 2-inch planks, and I'm going to use a fence picket, but this would be a perfect pallet wood project. After you get your 2-inch strip down, decide on how big this project is going to be. So whatever size that you would like your wall plaque to be. So I actually had a 13 by 13 piece of 1/4 inch plywood laying around, so I'm going to use that. Once you have your plywood cut into a square, you're going to mark center in all directions. This will give you a guide to work from. The next thing that you're going to do is start placing in your parts. Every part in this design is 45 degrees, and that's pretty much common for most of these styles of designs. They're just going different directions. And we are going to start from the inside and work our way out. So once you have your backing marked and your first 2 pieces cut, you're actually going to put it on your board, making sure that you trace it out for reference. So since we know that this is a 2x2, I want the inside of my next board to be 2 inches. So I'll cut the insides for all 4 of these at 2 inches. So now that you have those cut, you'll measure the outside of the boards that you just put in, which will be 6 inches. You'll make your next cuts with the inside of the 45s at 6 inches. So now that we have all those boards in place, we're getting to our outside edges. Now it's not quite as important to put 45s on because we're getting to the point where we're going to be cutting the edges off anyways. We just want to make sure that we have enough that overhangs our base. I'm going to cut this one at 10 inches square, that way I don't have to mess with the angles. So now with those boards in place, that's all that I have to do is continue this until all of our backing is covered. It's time to actually stain these parts up. Stain, paint, whatever you like to do. But before I do anything, I'm going to mark my boards. I'm going to mark them the colors that I want them. So I can use that reference whenever I'm painting or staining. Then I can flip the board over and actually paint the unmarked side. Once we get this done, we can go ahead and glue and nail our parts to our board. So once you have all of your parts glued and nailed to your board, now you just need to cut your square back out. If it's small enough, you can do this on a sliding miter saw, or you can do this on a table saw. And once you have that done, you can trim it out if you'd like, or you can just finish the ends. And it's as simple as that, guys. That's all that these things are 45-degree cuts, painted a certain way and marketed as wall art. And here's another example of where they're just selling a bigger one. This is a 24 by 24 piece of wall art that they're selling for $100. This thing's only 3/4 of an inch thick, so they're using some 1/2-inch material and probably just, like I did in the video, glued it to a 1/4-inch piece of plywood. So what I would do with these is throw in some different colors. It seems that the lighter faded colors are getting really popular. This is a perfect example of how you can take some of your scrap material that's only 2 inches wide and make something that will sell for big bucks. This one is from the old P1. That's what I'm gonna start calling it now. But the P1, not to be confused with the PB, is selling this ladder for $150. Ladders have always been hot. They're always in for a restroom. People love to throw their towels on there. In this case, a blanket. I don't know why you need a blanket in a bathroom, but whatever. But they are always hot. So you need to make different styles of these things. So we've talked about in the past making different types of towel ladders for bathrooms, but this one caught my eye because of what it is actually made out of. For the side rails, that's all they have done is taken little skinny trees. By the way that the knots are falling, it looks like some type of little evergreen tree or something like that. And they've debarked it. They've taken all of that bark off. They've let that dry. They've done the same thing with the rungs going across. So if you're in an area that has some type of big evergreen trees that the branches have fallen off and the wood is already dry, you can knock that bark off, smooth it up really well, and that's all that they have done is used a whitewash stain on this. For the rungs, that's all that they have done is carved this down to a little bit of a point. That will take a couple of minutes. They actually make tools that you can chuck up to a drill to do that, but it wouldn't take any time to do it by hand and give it more of an authentic look, because that is what they're going for. They're going for this old handmade rustic look from the 1800s and then make it look modern. They have crudely drilled holes into the sides of the uprights, added wood glue, and clamped that baby together. And that's it. That's what they've done for this. It's 18 inches wide, and they are wanting $150 for something that you can pick up out in the woods. And I like to make fun of things like this, but that is actually a really good idea. It's something that you can potentially get for free, put in a little bit of work, and make a nice profit out of it. If I was selling something like this, I would sell it for maybe 60, 70 bucks. Okay, so for this next one, this is a PB floating shelf. It is 4 foot long, and they are wanting $250 for this. Does this look familiar? Yes, I already have a full video teaching you how to make these. Check out that video, but apparently these are charging back up because this was another bestseller. But now they're going to more of this clean rustic, so the modern rustic look. Replicate that. They've done their homework, they've done the number crunching, all of the stuff that they do to decide to carry these things, and they're carrying them and they're selling them for $250 a piece. In the video, I go over the distressing techniques and all of that. So you would just lighten it up for this. You wouldn't even have to distress it. That's all that you would have to do is maybe round the edges over where you have 45 everything to make your box. And then you would just stain this thing up. So they're coming out with some pretty cool different stains. So this looks like to me that it's more of a light gray stain. And that's actually a color that is in right now, are the grays. So try some out in that color. Try some out in like a whitewashed color. So again, we're going for this modern rustic. Now, yes, you can do the distressed look. You can do the rustic look, but also mix in this modern rustic that we have something to show and something to offer for everyone's taste. So for this one, it looks like that the old PB is back at it again. And this is a 4-inch candle holder. But this is not a normal candle holder. This is a $100 candle holder. They want $100 for this thing. It's 12 inches tall, including the candle. What they've done for the wooden base, it is alternating shapes. And it's all that they have done for the wooden parts at the bottom. They are 2 inches thick and they have made a hexagon. So that's all you would have to do is take your miter saw, bandsaw, jigsaw, whatever that you have, and cut a square into a 6-sided shape, okay? So it's super easy to lay out, but what they've done to make it look like each level is different, or an alternating level, is the depth of the cut. So you notice the very bottom one, you have a lot wider face. The next one up, it's not quite as wide, but each one of these pieces still only has 6 sides. So that's all that they've done is move their saw out a little bit. And let's say for the second one, they have left a little bit of meat around the edges there and just made a shallower cut. The next one up is the exact same as the bottom one, and then the top one is the exact same as the second one. You just inset the top a little bit with a Forstner bit or some type of a hole saw, and then the globe you can probably pick up at the Dollar General or Walmart for next to nothing. I do not like the color of this, just this natural color with some type of a glaze over it. I think that it would look a lot better if it was painted in rustic colors for each level, but you could actually offer this style as well as those other styles. If the grain of the wood turns out really nice, then just use this style. But keep in mind, you want to make several different styles because, like we have discussed before, not everyone likes that rustic farmhouse look, but you need to provide that with everything that you do because it is hot right now. So have a clean, modern look, but also have that rustic distressed look. Have a look for everyone. Okay, so check this out. $299, and it's not for the dresser. It's not for the bed. It's for the pile of sticks that's hanging off the wall. $300 for a pile of sticks. Okay, so I'm not saying go out there and make this pile of sticks and glue them together and sell them as wall art. I'm using this as an example of really what people will buy. Now, you can go out there and do this if you'd like. I mean, take your pocket knife and skin down some oak dead wood and glue it together and make a rat nest like this. But I can pretty much guarantee you if you put it on the local market, you're not going to get your $300 out of that. You see how they have it staged up. And this is all a part of the marketing that I've been telling you about. So essentially, if you can make someone visualize it in their own home, even if it is a pile of sticks, if you can make them see, hey, this is going to look pretty cool in my place, they're going to buy it. And obviously people are paying $300 for things like this. So again, this wasn't an item to build. This was just an example. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy that video. I hope that you were able to learn something from this video. As always, that is the main goal, is to take something away. And that as you take that away, you teach that to someone else. So hopefully, as I was breaking down some of these items, you were seeing how I was doing that. So if you listen to how I break down some of these things, you will find yourself doing the exact same thing while you're in the store. You'll see something and you'll say, hey, I dig this. Oh, it's $60. And you get to looking at it and you're like, I can make this for like $3. So that is exactly the point of all of this, for you to be able to get to that point so you can be the one making that kind of profit off of the low cost items. Make sure to head to the description and check out our Patreon community and our brag board. Patreon community is growing like crazy, and people are submitting brags to the brag board every single day. And another thing that I'm going to try out for this year, because this channel has become more than just a woodworking channel, more than just a woodworking community. People are starting to see the life lessons that are involved with any type of a lesson, any type of learning, or any type of teaching. That's awesome. That is the goal. That's what I want. So for those who have followed the channel for very long, you know that I love artistic pieces, as you can see behind me. I love creative pieces, and I love inspirational quotes. I love anything that will build people up or open someone's eyes, not only to woodworking and business, but to life in general. So at the end, I'm going to start saying a quote and tell you how I interpret it. It's just like anything else, they can be interpreted different ways by different people based on what they're going through in their life. So the one for today is, show us a man who has never made a mistake, and we will show you a man who has never made anything. So it seems pretty simple, but that's a deep one, actually. That is essentially saying that mistakes are part of life. Mistakes are part of learning. Mistakes are part of building. So do not get down on yourself when you make a mistake. Everyone makes them, except for the people that do not do anything. Don't be that person. You actually want to be that person that is making mistakes, because that means that you are actually out there doing something, bettering your life, striving for those goals that you've always wanted to hit. And a part of that process is the mistakes, but you learn from that mistake and you grow even more. And that is a huge part of success, not only in business, but in life in general. So if you guys have a favorite quote or a saying that kind of hits you hard, make sure to drop it into the comments. I would love to read those, and there may just be someone out there that needs to read that quote today. So your homework for this week is to look around your house, take a woodworking item that has been purchased, look at it, no matter how small or large that it is, and figure out how they made it, and then replicate it with your twist. And that is called being creative. See ya.